Greetings, travelers. I'm your host, the C-Dot that knows a lot, Dr. Waluigi. Recently, there has been an increase in horror movies that turn certain childhood characters into horrifying slasher villains. While I don't mind these types of movies, as some of them can be entertaining, in this case I feel like we need to be reminded of the happiness that these original stories brought us in our childhood. So, before the sequel to its much weaker horror version comes out, let's take a look at the first piece of media from this particular franchise with The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I think that people all over the world know or have at least heard of the characters from the Winnie the Pooh franchise. But for those of you out there that don't know, in 1924, author A.A. Milne wrote a series of stories about his son Christopher and the adventures he had with his stuffed animals. It was popular enough that he wrote more books till it became a world-famous book series in Europe. This is where Disney comes into the picture after Walt discovered the books, which led to him making 3 of the stories into animated shorts, which later got combined and turned into an anthology movie with several other stories based on the other characters that A.A. Milne created. Sadly, this film is considered the last movie Walt Disney worked on before his death in 1966, having worked on 2 of the 3 shorts before those shorts got turned into the movie we know today. The movie has since then become an animated classic which has garnered the love of kids and adults everywhere, to the point that more kids of the West recognize this version more than the original. But while that might be disheartening to hear for the book lovers, I do think that this version holds up as one of the best book adaptations of all time, and after reading one of the books, maybe another movie that is better than its original counterpart. As I said before, the movie follows the adventures of Christopher Robin and his toys, specifically on the title character Winnie the Pooh, and all that happens to him throughout several pages of his, at this point, first book, which includes him getting honey from some bees, meeting a character named Tigger, and spending a nice windy day with his friend Piglet. It may seem boring for an adult today, but for kids, the stories are cute and are intended to have good morals and are made to entertain with fun songs and cute animation. While the stories of the series aren't the most memorable thing in the world, the cast and characters, however, are what stand out. No matter what age you are, chances are you've seen characters like this or have at least known characters like them. While we know that Jim Cummings would voice Tigger and Pooh after this movie's release, the original cast are still charming, with Sterling Holloway voicing Pooh and Paul Winchell voicing Tigger, and they do a really good job. The other characters are just as memorable, with my favorites being Owl and Rabbit, who were voiced by Hal Smith and Junius Matthews. However, there is one character that is kind of annoying and pointless, but we'll get to him in a moment. On top of the cast and characters, the movie has some of the best animation that came out from the 70s. The animators made the movie look like they were translating the designs of the original book, which is something that I haven't really seen done with a lot of other movies based off of children's books, or at least not done as well. I also really like that this movie takes place within the actual book, and making each of the stories feel like you're being read the book as if it were a bedtime story, which includes a very well done narration by Bagheera himself, Sebastian Cabot. Also, I can't talk about this movie without mentioning the iconic music, with such earworms like the main theme and the trippy as hell Heffalumps and Woozles song. Seriously, what the hell is up with Disney movies involving elephants? These are all things I've only ever seen done a few other times in movies, but this series seems to be the only one to do it well. But there sadly is one blemish on the face of this adaptation. One of the negatives that most fans will point out, and is honestly the only negative of this movie, is the added character of Gopher, voiced by Howard Morris. Gopher was a character that was added to the movie because the creators believed that the movie had too much British representation, so they added him to the movie to appeal to American audiences. Kind of like what they did to Godzilla when it was brought over to the West. But in all honesty, Gopher is the Winnie the Pooh equivalent to characters like Scrappy-Doo or Snarf, who don't serve a purpose outside of being the comic relief. But I feel that you don't need that type of character for a movie with an already large comedic cast. I get that he's a minor character in this movie, but he did continue in other movies and TV series and just grew more and more annoying. To the point that in later iterations of Winnie the Pooh, Disney finally removed him from the series because even they got tired of his annoying voice. The movie is a timeless classic that still holds up for those who are discovering it for the first time, to the young at heart that still find this series charming. The characters, the animation, and the writing are fun and charming that if you haven't seen it yet, watch it on Disney Plus or rent it from your local library. It's that good. I give this movie a 10 out of 10. There's honestly nothing more I can say other than make sure to return for my next favorite thing from my childhood. Thanks for watching, I'm Dr. Waluigi, and remember, don't judge a book by its cover, cause you'll never know what's inside. Good night, everyone.